go again?
Oh, no, not again.
You've seen it before, haven't you?
Dom, how long have we been doing this?
Once more unto the breach. Dear friends.
Again and again and again until we're both dead.
Hello and welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews, connections in mind. No Time to Die is the 25th installment in the Bond franchise and is the final outing of Daniel Craig as James Bond himself. And this film takes place several years after the events of 2015's Spectre. And this film also features Bond having to come out of retirement to face the sins of the past, and it is up to him to once again save the world from a nefarious plot and also to save the people that he cares about most. Now, this movie review will contain spoilers of No Time to Die as well as certain other films, but I'll be doing my spoiler-free thoughts up front, and I'll do my spoiler thoughts after that. But just so you know, there will be spoilers later on in this review. So, before we get into the spoilers, let's get into some spoiler-free reaction and review to No Time to Die. Is it worth seeing in the theaters? Is it a fitting end to Daniel Craig's tenure as 007? I would say yes, absolutely. This is one of those Bond films that, having rewatched the previous four Daniel Craig films, Bond films leading up to No Time to Die, I would say this actually completes a fairly cohesive narrative for the Bond films. And as far as things go, this is definitely one that is you're not going to want to miss this one if you're a serious Bond fan. I will say it feels somewhat long, which hasn't always been a problem with the Bond franchise. I feel like this is on par lengthwise with the previous two Bond films, maybe a little bit longer, but it feels a little bit longer. And I'm not sure if that's the fault of just the pacing in certain scenes, especially the middle of the movie tends to feel like it's feels like it's a lot, and it feels like and I feel like this has been a problem with the previous Bond film, Spectre. It feels like there should be one more big action scene to to go in between one of the other ones, just to break up some of the long scenes where not a whole lot seems to be happening. And there's also some scenes where there's some like twists that are set up, and there's some character development moments that are played as genuine, but I feel like as an audience member, me personally, but I feel like you as an audience member as well, will probably see these things coming. And I don't think that that they come off as genuine enough to work. As well as there's one main twist near the end of the film where there's sort of a fake out as to the twist, but then I will say that didn't work in my opinion, and I feel like the audience, anyone going into this will see it doesn't work necessarily either. And I feel like some twists work better than others just because we had more time to see these characters interact with one another, especially, Bond with M, Bond with Q, Bond with Madeline Swan from the previous film. Just not all of these twists necessarily land as well, but I feel like that's only part of the equation here. Yes, those are negatives on this, but on the positive front, the action scenes are excellent. If you've seen the trailers, you've seen some of the ones that are from the beginning of the film, but some of the ones, there's one in particular that happens in Cuba that I think is probably the best action scene in the entire film, and it's just so much fun. And I wish we had more time to spend with in that locale, partially because I'm partial to the cars of Cuba, the old school cars. We'll get to cars in a little bit when I get to my spoilers front. But on the whole, I would say, I'm not going to reveal any spoilers right now, but if you were knowing that this is Daniel Craig's final outing as James Bond, I would say this will leave you satisfied and hopeful for the future, I think. Personally, I think the James Bond franchise is going to continue living on. I believe, I don't think it's this, I think it's next year that is the 60th anniversary of James Bond, and I feel like we're gonna reach 70th anniversary of James Bond before we hit any real fatigue at this point, because Daniel Craig's 10 years Bond has breathed so much life into this franchise for the 21st century, and I feel like what we've established here, yes, we're going to get a new actor or actress as Bond going into the future, but I feel like what we've established here is a good enough foundation that I'm hopeful for the future, and No Time to Die definitely has its hand in that. So, if I was going to give my No Time to Die a letter grade, a letter grade, I would say this, to me, is a solid A-. Some of the things will go down, knock it down a couple pegs, but overall, this is a very solid James Bond film. And as far as my personal rankings of the James Bond films, I am a very big James Bond fan. First of all, as far as the overall pantheon of James Bond films goes, this is definitely near the top of the pack. But as far as the Daniel Craig James Bond films are concerned, my personal rankings of that, of the 5 films that we're talking about, so Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and now No Time to Die, my personal 5 rankings of those 5 films would be Quantum of Solace is definitely still at the bottom. I mean, whole lot of issues with that. Spectre would be 4. Personally, I would say this is a tie for second place with Skyfall. My rating may change later on because I'm seeing this. I'm doing this review literally right after I saw the movie. But yes, I would say this is a tie for second place with Skyfall. But number 1 for me is still Casino Royale as far as the Daniel Craig Bonds go. So those are my main spoiler-free thoughts on No Time to Die. Now let's get into some spoiler thoughts as to certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before. Now, again, now we're getting into spoilers here. The main conceit of this film is that Madeline Swan, James Bond's girlfriend, she's got some secrets, and those secrets have caught up with her. And one of the secrets in particular that has caught up with her, and now that she's having to reveal it to Bond, is that she has a daughter. And this is one of those twists that I thought, that I mentioned before, that I thought they kind of do a fake out where it's like, she's not Bond's daughter, but then it's kind of revealed, oh yeah, she is Bond's daughter. It's like, why did we go through that? I don't know. But the whole crux of the third act is Bond coming to terms with him being a father and having something to live for, and then that makes the final blow so crushing to him and to us as an audience member. I feel like there's a certain parallel that could be made here with some films such as like Logan, where Logan got a daughter that he didn't necessarily want, didn't know that he had, and then he kind of grew into the role. And then when he eventually dies and can't he can't take care of her going forward, but he kind of ensures her future going forward from there. There's a parallel to be made there, but I feel like the stronger parallel to be made with this type of plot line, and I feel like this film kind of leans into that as well, is a earlier Bond film, one of the more obscure Bond films, and one that I feel like is somewhat underrated, and it's starting to get an audience of its own. I will say I probably need to rewatch it again soon, because I haven't rewatched it in quite a while, is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the one and only Bond film that George Lazenby starred as James Bond, where the main focus of one of the main conflicts of that Bond movie is Bond as a human being and as a man who actually wants to have a meaningful relationship with a woman, and it feels like he could give it all the spy life up for her. And then that film ends in tragedy because right after he weds the woman that he's fallen in love with, she gets gunned down, and then they have I think there's the line that's like, "We have all the time in the world," or something similar to that, and that sort of sentiment is repeated here in No Time to Die. Also, both films feature a bioweapon that's supposed to wipe out a certain portion of the population, as well as the main, villain plot of the movie. So there's another parallel to be made there. So yeah, there are other things that could be linked to No Time to Die. These are just the couple that came to mind. Again, right after I saw the movie here. But my other spoilery thoughts on here is that, again, I was going to come back to cars. The Aston Martin Vantage is back from The Living Daylights, and this is another awesome car. And we've already seen that, the DB5, it's souped up DB5, with the Gatling guns hidden in the headlights, is back. And again, I love the DB5. It's another awesome. It's the most iconic car from the Bond franchise. The Vantage, however, I feel like is one that you could have done so much fun stuff. I mean, it's got laser cutting hubcaps or whatever, and they do nothing with this car. And I'm so bummed. It feels like such a missed opportunity for me as a fan of the Bond franchise. Also, when they tour through Q's laboratory, you can see in the background there's, I believe it's a Aston Martin Vulcan, or something like that. Like the Formula One hypercar that Aston Martin made. You can see it in like a wind tunnel in the background. It's like, oh, is that gonna come back later? No, it doesn't. I'm like, come on. And then the new 007, Latasha Lynch, I believe, who plays her. She's driving around in an Aston Martin, I believe it's a DB11, and she's driving around. And it's like she picks up Bond. It's like, ooh, we get it. Is it a new gadget? We're gonna see anything new? No, nothing. It's like, come on. This is our last chance to get yet more awesome, cool Bond car action before, who knows when the next Bond film's gonna come out. I do like that we got the awesome, wheelie donut with Gatling guns firing from the DB5, but I saw that so many times in the trailer. It's like, give me something. I wanted something else in this movie. And that's another thing. This film was one of the first major releases to be delayed because of the pandemic. And this was supposed to come out, I believe, October 2019. We've been waiting. So it would have been 4 years at that point that we were waiting between Spectre and No Time to Die then. So now it's 6 years after the fact. And it's like, finally we get something. Me as a Bond fan kind of felt that was a little bit of a bummer. But these are just my personal nitpicks, and that's why I kind of ranked it lower-ish on the rankings. But in my mind, these are not going to distract the casual moviegoer. This is another good James Bond film, and it is definitely worth it just to see Daniel Craig as James Bond one last time. So, those are my thoughts on No Time to Die. What did you think of the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about my analysis? Do you agree, disagree? Did I miss anything? I most likely missed something. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my next movie review, which will be for Dune, which I'll be seeing on October 21st. As well as my next TV review, which I believe the season 2 finale of Star Trek Lower Decks airs next week, and then I'll be doing my complete season 2 review of Star Trek Lower Decks. So be sure to look for that on my channel if you like. And also, if you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially a subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. But just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.